These songs are for Bia Nat, but they're also songs that we use in shul. A medley. First, Sim Shalom to the melody of Bashana Haba'ah. It's Erev Yom HaAtzmaut. The Taubenfelds, if nothing else, are enormous supporters of the State of Israel. So here is that.
Not him, but his father and mother.
And if nothing else, the Taubenfelds are into davening. Ve'al kulam yitbarach v'yitromam. For all these things and all these reasons, may you be praised and exalted. Yes, it's for God. It could also be for our guests. In our third of four songs, we sing Erev Vavoker Bechol Yom Tamid, evening and morning, every day, like clockwork, day after day. For me, but it's even more for Nat, just like you said. Nat is there for Minyan, evening and morning, day after day after day. This is Mimkomo Hu Yifen Barachamim by Cantor Devin Goldenberg.
Shema
And to end our set, well, we have to end with From Generation to Generation, Ledor Vador, this melody by Saul Zim. You can all sing along on this if you want. Let's do it.
Thank you so much, Cantor Chaplain and the Taubenfeld Choir. It's my pleasure to call upon Victor Nicey, the president of our congregation.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to a wonderful evening at Congregation of Israel. And a special welcome to Nat and Bee and all the family that came to celebrate with us on this special day. It's really an incredible honor to be part of a special tribute to Nat and Bee. Okay, nice on my face. They truly are the closest thing that we have to true royalty in our humble congregation. When I say it's an honor, I truly mean that. It's extremely rare to have the opportunity to pay tribute to people that have made such a meaningful impact on the lives of others, and specifically on your own life. Just over 18 years ago, my father passed away, and I began coming to the morning minion just to say Kaddish. Can't look at you. It was during this time that Nat would come over to me and he'd ask me if I was ready to lead a small portion of the service, and I did. And then as time went on, he would ask me if I was ready to read Pesukei to Zimra. Then it was the full Shachari, then it was Hallel, etc. You know how that goes. As time went on, what began as an effort to get through Shloshim for me, and then 11 months, turned into a 6-year period where I attended the morning minyan nearly every single day. Soon I was coordinating the morning minyan. I was then assisting with the gabbai duties, and then when Nat went to Florida, I was the lead gabbai while he was away. I can tell you that I would not be standing here as president of Congregation of Judah Israel had it not been for Nat's personal impact on me. Nat reconnected me with my Jewish spirituality through prayer, something that I saw him do for many years with other congregants who he also took under his wing. So wise, so compassionate, so loving. It is so fitting that we honor Nat and Bee on Yom HaAtzmaut, when we celebrate Israel's Independence Day with singing and with dancing and the joy of children and adults celebrating our heritage together. During our concert celebration last year, Nat was so moved that he mentioned to me right at the event that he and Bee would sponsor any type of event like this if we were able to do it again in the future. Thank God we are all here a year later to celebrate another wonderful Yom HaHatzmaut together again. So thank you so much, Nat and Bee. And now I'd like to turn it over to the Rabbi for a few words.
Thank you so much, Victor. We are enormously privileged as a CAI family to honor Bee and Nat, who are really our shul matriarch and patriarch. We love you guys very dearly. Now, with all the things that Nat and Bee have done, they are enormously humble. They don't like to be honored. And indeed, when, thanks to Ned and Jane Gladstein, we had the opportunity to dedicate our chapel as the Taubenfeld Chapel, we knew that Nat would say no. Like, that rabbi, don't do it. So we asked Bee. And so we have the Taubenfeld Chapel. So thank you, Bee. And tonight, to honor you guys, we knew that both of you would be too humble. So we asked your kids. So thank you to Ann and John and Jane and David, Sue and Richard and Bill and Lois and Felicia. And of course, to the blessed memory of David Zichrono Livracha, because thanks to the wisdom of your kids, we're honoring you tonight as the launch of what will be the next 2 years of celebratory centennial events. In addition to that, my strategy tonight is to divide my praising of Bee and Nat with my partner in crime, Susan Work. So we figured that since it's male-female, I would emphasize Nat, and Sue's going to emphasize Bee. It's a fair distribution of honors. So let me talk about Nat, which is hard to do in a brief period of time because there's so much that could be said. Nat as Gabbai. John and Paula Drill, Rabbi Drill, were out of town with their kids when they were small a bunch of years ago. And their daughter Sarah, seeing the shul that they were visiting, she said, look, there's the rabbi, there's the cantor, but where's the Nat? Because Nat is the paradigm Gabbai. Nat has been the Gabbai of our shul for over 60 years. But it's not just the duration, it's the spiritual power, as Victor described briefly. It's the impact on the lives of countless generations. From that podium of spirituality, it also is Nat's opportunity to give insights into Torah and to correct the rabbi's sermons. So this is all very important as our Gabbai. In addition, Nat as a CAI leader. Nat is a revered past president of our shul and a major Baal Tzedakah. He's always seeking ways to make Caldwell into the best shul we possibly can be. That's spelled B-E-A. Now, as for one example, it was Nat who came forward, as Victor indicated, but he said to me, you know, down in Florida at B'nai Torah, Boca Raton, one of the things that they do that brings people from the outside in, that gives people a sense of who B'nai Torah is they have very popular concerts. The concerts engage the whole community, but they also bring the community to the outside world. And so it has been the philanthropy and thought of Bee and Nat that has enabled us to have concerts like the Rick Rech concert for Hanukkah, the concert tonight, and so forth. Nat, as we know, is an amazing davener. He davens with a powerful voice and with kavanah. When I arrived in Caldwell, people said, this is the unique shul where the rabbi, Rabbi Werb of blessed memory, davens from the Amid, who davens with a beautiful, powerful voice, and the cantor davens in the congregation. Because they assumed that powerful voice in the congregation, Nat, was the cantor. Because he was. He was the spiritual lay voice for our congregation. In addition, he set a tone which is unique for us. Again, back to B'nai Torah, when Nat and Dee first came to B'nai Torah in South Florida, in Boca, Rabbi David Steinhardt, who had been our intern here for 4 years, has been the senior rabbi there for a long time. He told me, he said, you know, Alan, I was walking towards the sanctuary, and I was stopped by some people, so I came in a little bit late. I came in when Sukkot Zimra and, Yercha Shachar were already starting, and I heard Caldwell, because they had called upon Nat to daven, and it was a unique sound. As Rita likes to say, her father, Ola Shalom, hearing Nat's Galitzianer davening, said, at last, a guy who davens without an accent. Nat also is our leading Zionist. He is the guy always concerned for the well-being of Am Yisrael. As a Holocaust survivor, he has deep passion for Jewish peoplehood, continuity, evident in his generous support for pro-Israel organizations, for Jewish educational institutions, for conservative Judaism's panoply of institutions, and for building a community based upon Shabbat and Yom Tov meals and the famous Taubenfeld Sukkah. When I came to Caldwell, we only had the synagogue Sukkah and Marty Uzersky Sukkah, Aaron Shinbon Sukkah, and the Taubenfeld Sukkah. The Taubenfeld Sukkah was where you got invited if you were lucky to meals. And I was invited to the Sukkah with Rita, and it was the fall, and there was sweet food, and there were yellow jackets all over the place. So I turned to Nat, I said, Nat, you must have a solution. You're an expert with bees. And bees turned to me and said, yes, but I'm an expert with gnats. And that Shabbos table, that Yom Tov table, that sukkah produced so much Jewish commitment. And finally, Nat as a mensch. No one could possibly surpass Nat's amazing sensitivity. Michael Gressman, our new development director, is such a wonderful addition to the shul, tells me a story I've heard so many times, that when he came to our shul, to davening for the first time, he took a seat in the back to kind of get the lay of the land. Nat saw him, came back, said, no, he's not going to sit by himself, and he brought him up to sit with Nat and Dee, and to guide him into our synagogue's life. Nat discreetly donates to my rabbi's fund, directing assistance b'shtika, quietly, to specific people who are in need. Nat gently comforts the mourners. Nat reaches out with love to those who are ill, and so much more. Nat and Dee, we love you guys. We're thrilled to honor you. We feel honored by your presence, and it's a tremendous nachas for us that you're here with us this evening with your loving family. It's my pleasure to call upon Susan.
I am so honored that Rabbi Silverstein gave me the opportunity to speak about my very dear friend, our very dear friend, Bee. Early on, when I first came to Caldwell, New Jersey, Bee started to attend our Women's Rosh Chodesh group. And I was very impressed with her at that Women's Rosh Chodesh group. And at that particular time, we were speaking about Huldah the prophetess. And what would prove to be true of form, Bee did not just listen intently and learn deeply, which of course she did. She went further. She absorbed it and was inspired, and that fall, she used her considerable creative talents to design an image of Huldah the prophetess for the walls of the Taubenfeld Sukkah. I too have had many times in that sukkah, but that particular year when I saw Huldah right on the walls, it was amazing. It was just amazing. Bee's creativity, some of you might even have some bee wear around. My father has some placemats that were made that are bee wear. Anybody else has any bee wear? Come on. Some of us have it in the room. When Bee and Nat go to Florida, I am really sad. Why? It's a little colder in Jersey when the Taubenfelds go to Florida, but I'm particularly missing Bee because she's part of our weekly Parsha class, which she has attended for at least 20 years since I've been teaching it. She is such a careful listener and thoroughly considers what is being imparted before offering perspective insights into the subjects we are focused on. B is a wonderful learner and adds a lot to that particular class, and we love her. So, Parsha class people, wave your hand, blow a kiss to our B. We love you in the Parsha class. You cut them off. She did. She cut all the kisses. Now, when the Kaplan children, Elon and Simone and Tamar, were very little, and now they're all grown up. But when they were little, I used to tell them fun stories set in the world of bugs. In these tales, B-E-E, was always kind, helpful, creative, and protective of her little bees, and of course, so loving towards her and sick mate, Nat, G-N-A-T. Only Tamar Kaplan remembers every single story that I told, and it was all not, it was all at the top of my head. So you can ask her to tell you about the tales. Of course, my stories are modeled on the star couple I delighted in seeing in synagogue every Shabbat, whose enduring relationship provided such an outstanding example of commitment, respect, and affection. And of course, as an inspiration for the character of the mother in my stories, there was no one better than B, the matriarch, who presided with constant flow of love and devotion over her amazing Taubenfeld family. B, you are an example of the best kind of wife, the best kind of mother, the best type of grandmother, and the best type of great-grandmother. You are a role model for us all. Do you all agree? You are a wonderful congregant, a kind and considerate friend, a woman who demonstrates loving kindness, family loyalty, and you are a true mensch. We in the room and in this community are all better people knowing you, and we love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. It's my pleasure to call upon our Associate Rabbi, Ari Lucas. I thank you in the introduction because we have people from the outside who might not know this wonderful, fabulous addition to our team. And I want to make sure that you
It's my great honor, and I feel humbled by the honor, to present you with a gift on behalf of the shul. And when we were thinking of one word that could capture everything that we feel towards you and everything that you are towards us, the word that we came up with was ahava, was love. Your love of this shul, your love of Yiddishkeit, of Judaism, your love of Medinat Yisrael, of our homeland in Israel, the love you show to everyone. It makes us feel so warm. And so we wanted to give you just a token of our ahava, our love for you. So the shul has made a special Kiddush cup, which is inscribed with the word ahava on it as a token of our gratitude. I personally also just want to say a word of thank you. Come on up and let's give them another huge round of applause. I also just want to take a moment to give a personal word. It would have been enough. You could have said at this stage of your life, we have enough rabbis, we have enough Jewish leaders in our lives. So I personally want to thank you for making space in your heart. It's for me to be a part of this community that I'm coming to love. And it's a great honor for me to give you this gift on behalf of the shul. We've also made a certificate which reads, in grateful recognition of Beatrice and Nathan Taubenfeld for 6 decades of leadership, friendship, and commitment to Congregation Agudath Israel. If I reach that amount of time, it'll be 2079. Lovingly presented by all the names here below, your Congregation Agudath Israel family. Mazel tov.
Everybody knows now that I'm afraid speaking. What can I say? All the stuff that was talked about the two of us. First of all, thank you, Rabbi, for your presence here. Makes us happy to be known in the congregation. I had an association with this congregation twice. First of all, I came to Caldwell 68 years ago, and to meet my wife, Bea. At the same time, I was introduced to the congregation in Caldwell by Rabbi Ward. This congregation was not only my second home. Many times my wife said to me, why don't you take the bed and go sleep in it? It wasn't easy because understanding what necessarily important for the synagogue is was close to my life. I'm standing here with pride what we have accomplished in the past 70 years in this congregation. Every bar mitzvah, every bar mitzvah, every wedding, when a young couple comes up, gives me so much nachas to see what we have accomplished as a congregation here. I consider our congregation the headquarters of the conservative movement. And looking around at this synagogue reminds me of Jacob. Jacob stood before Hashem and said, "Futorti mikol ha'chasurim." I'm humble for all the good, beautiful things that you do for him. Same thing, Futorti mikol ha'chasurim, what Hashem is doing for the Taubenfeld. We are proud to be members of this congregation. We are proud to associate ourselves with every individual in this congregation. And for me and my wife, is the most important thing that we should continue for another 100 years. Thank you for honoring us.
We have a present for you two.
Let me mention, we do have some refreshments, some desserts over here on the side, chance to schmooze. The doors, we're give people time, congratulate Matt and Dee personally. The doors to the sanctuary will open at 7:10. 7:10, you might hear a little bit of noise as 6:13, the performing group is sound checking, but doors are open at 7:10, and the davening will begin soon thereafter, and the concert is at 8 o'clock. Thanks for coming, and mazel tov again to me and Matt.